Battlecast Primetime. The sun has risen and it's time for the Empire to strike back. Producer Amir Ajami breaks down the newest faction in Red Alert 3. What new units and powers will he reveal? Once again, APOC breaks out of his corner and Amir Rao returns to answer your most pressing questions. Battlecast Primetime starts now. You're logged in to Battlecast Primetime. Here for the E3 freebies is Raj Joshi. I'm David Silverman. Raj, can you believe this is our 12th episode and next month is actually our 1-year anniversary?
Well, you better be getting me something nice, David. That's right. Here we are almost a year in the running and we finally busted out for our underground lair. That's right. Battlecast Primetime is on location at the LA Convention Center, direct from the E3 show floor.
We've got a ton of Kane's Wrath and Red Alert 3 news to break, including more information on the new Empire of the Rising Sun faction. But come on, this is E3. Before we get down to business, it's time to feed your gaming cravings. Earlier today, I went on the prowl to scope out the hottest games of E3. Let's check it out. And here we are at the Rock Band 2 booth. I'm joined by Casson Crooker, who's the lead producer. How is Rock Band 2 different than Rock Band 1?
Cool, yeah. So what we wanted to do was take what we learned from Rock Band and definitely improve on it. You can find friends from around the world, create a band online, and go through the whole campaign there. We added hireable staff, so you can add a promoter, manager, street team, even your mom. You can hire your mom. All of your Rock Band 1 songs are going to be able to export over. You guys just announced the new track list for Rock Band 2, and I have to say, you guys are gods for adding the greatest song ever created, Eye of the Tiger, into Rock Band 2. The fact that I'm talking to you, the man who put Eye of the Tiger into Rock Band 2, I mean, this is a dream come true. We had some skeptics at Harmonix, and very early on, I'm like, do not fight me on this song.
Great work on that, buddy. Let's see what's next. All right, here I am over at Warhammer Online, and I'm joined by Jeff Hickman and Paul Barnett. Can you give us a little bit more detail about the public questing? Because that's entirely different than any other MMO that I've seen.
Public quests allow you to get into the game and do something cinematic, kick-ass, and awesome quickly. In 30 minutes, you're gonna blow up half a mountain. You're gonna kill a giant. You're gonna battle a dragon. You're gonna feel good about it, and then at the end, you are guaranteed to get something you can use. So the reason public quests rock is they give you something to do quickly, that's cinematic, with a really cool reward.
They're absolutely fantastic. Nobody does anything like them.
I actually heard a rumor that there's going to be a special Warhammer Online unlockable if you buy Command & Conquer Red Alert 3.
Bring on the bear!
Of the universe.
So that actually is the Red Alert bear? With a little, Russian hat.
It could be Warhammer!
All right, so here we are, joined by Stephen Lim, who's a development director on Spore.
So Spore is all about creation. Start out as a self and progress out into creatures, tribes, conquer the world with Civ, and I started exploring the galaxy and space. As you guys know, we released a creature creator a few weeks ago. We've surpassed the number of known species on Earth, which is close to 2 million creatures. We've been really impressed with our fans.
Now, there's some RTS elements to this game, right?
Right. Now we have a combative and non-combative route through the game in all levels.
This is Battlecast Primetime. Let's see some decimation.
Look, fortunately, I happen to have carnivorous creatures, so they're going to do a lot of killing. So there is a lot of variety here, and we've tried to incorporate a lot of gameplay.
All right, here we are at Mirror's Edge, and I'm joined by producer Nick Channon.
So basically, Mirror's Edge, we created a game that's very, very different. So basically, the city is a city that's just become quite a controlled society. All communication is monitored. But the people that have kind of gone against it have been kind of ostracized, almost criminalized, and they don't want to communicate under monitored communication. So they use what we call runners. And runners communicate between these different people, taking messages across the rooftop through the city, and that's what Faith does. So it's all about sort of trying to do wall runs, jumping up between different walls. So You know, the different moves you can do just depending on your skill level, and it'll be different for everyone. You can actually avoid combat. We have an achievement in the game for actually going through without dispatching anybody. So Faith doesn't have any weapons, she doesn't have any armor, she just has to go up, disarm somebody, then she can use that weapon against them. So really big choices and very diverse gameplay.
Nick Channon, thank you so much for coming on the
Great
show.
to see you again, Dave. Thank you for your time.
People might not actually know, but I used to work with this guy back on the Burnout days.
He's pretty good at this, isn't he? You're not bad.
Wow, there's so many awesome games here. I'll have to go check out some during the break. But for now, let's shift our attention back to one of IGN's top 10 most anticipated games of E3, our very own Red Alert 3. Right. This week, the press is getting hands-on with Red Alert 3 multiplayer for the first time ever, and we pulled out all the stops. Allies, Soviets, the Empire of the Rising Sun. It's all fair game. Later in the show, we'll bring you our favorite Red Alert 3 match in the Battlecast 5, along with some of your Kane's Wrath matches.
Before the Empire marches into action, let's get the lowdown on this new faction with producer Amir Ajami. Amir, welcome to Battlecast Primetime.
Thank you, David.
Now, Amir, are you ready to face the firing squad?
Well, David, if I can handle the killer crowds behind me at E3, I'm sure I can manage you two clowns.
Oh, hey, thank you. Well, Chuck E. Cheese, before we begin our rapid-fire barrage of questions and expose the new Empire faction, tell us a bit about your background, you know, other than entertaining children. How'd you end up producing it?
It's a long story, but I'm going to keep it short for you guys.
Thank you.
About 6 years ago, I worked at this website called GameSpot.com for 4 years. That's how I met my old executive producer. First project was CNC Generals, and the rest, as we say, is history.
Amir, we know the basic premise of Red Alert 3. What can you tell us about the Empire's agenda?
So the Empire, like any good superpower, is essentially out to rule the world. Unbeknownst to most people, though, there's like a father-son conflict going on. The Emperor, being the head of the Empire of the Rising Sun, he has one world view, and his son has another. And so it's very interesting to see how Japan handles not only the Allies and Soviets, but an internal conflict as well.
In terms of coming up with the Empire of the Rising Sun, how'd you come up with their more fantastical elements?
Well, so anime was definitely probably the biggest reference that we pulled, but we've also looked at World War II historical data, what kind of vehicles the Japanese had during the war, what kind of infantry they had, what suits they wore, and we tried to infuse that with the anime look and feel into the Empire of the Rising Sun faction that we ended up with in RE3.
Amir, you have survived the firing squad. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Raj.
If you haven't seen E3's and EA's Red Alert 3 trailer yet, where the hell have you been? It's time to show you the glorious Empire in action sent to the new Hell March remix by the band from first to last. Watch these giant transforming robots crush the Allies and Soviets. Rising Sun, roll out!
While the Allies and the Soviets battled among themselves, we patiently waited, watched, and secretly constructed an unstoppable military machine. The time has now come to unleash the full power of the Empire of the Rising Sun. Doesn't care if he's called a beast or a dog. The main thing is winning.
E3 ships this fall, but if you can't wait to play it, register for the beta now. Every copy of Kane's Wrath for the PC comes with a beta key. And if you register by September 15th, you're guaranteed to be playing.
So Raj, what did you think of the new remix of Hellmarch?
Are you kidding? It's my Eye of the Tiger. I'm getting pumped just thinking about it.
Well, then you'll be even more pumped to know that we have an exclusive interview with the band from first to last, plus updates on the Weekend of Wrath as we go from the front. From first to last, as we recorded the legendary Hellmarch, Battlecast Primetime was on location when the track was recorded. Let's see what the band had to say about breathing life into a video game classic.
Hi, I'm Travis, I play guitar.
I'm Derek, I play drums.
Hey, I'm Matt, I sing and play guitar, and we're from First to Last. We're recording Hell's March for Red Alert 3.
We were like instantly like, yes, we want to do that. When they asked us, it was like, yeah, we're gonna make that happen, so.
Kane's Wrath patch has hit, and the fans love it. Along with killing those pesky desync bugs, the patch also puts an end to the infamous Mecha Pete spam. In fact, it deals a heavy blow to spamming in general by making harvesters and refineries more valuable and slowing down the economy.
Kane's Wrath 360 exploded over Xbox Live this month in the Weekend of Wrath. Gamers were given a chance to play against actual Kane's Wrath developers, and even the Dark Messiah himself. Joe Coogan only lost one match the entire day, and that was when he was triple teamed in a 4-man free-for-all.
See, I knew it. I knew you guys were gonna gang up on me, you bastards.
Good work, Joe. Every hour, live gamers won CNC swag, Microsoft points, and even an Xbox 360 Elite system. Be sure you go online to pick up your Kane's Wrath Gamer Pick or Xbox 360 exclusive themes, only on Xbox Live Marketplace. There are even a few freebies to be had. A big shout out to everyone that logged on, especially my boy Smokey D and the World Strike Submitters for covering my flank.
Did you and Smokey win?
Hell yeah, we were an unstoppable force.
Right. When we return, Amir Rao is here to answer your Red Alert 3 questions live from the E3 show floor. Plus, APOC gets transported to a new corner on location. And we'll break down our favorite Red Alert 3 matchup in the Battlecast 5. All this and more when Battlecast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV.
Come, my brother. It is time you saw the face of the future. Take that spark and start a fire which will become a great conflagration. Peace through power.
Welcome back to Battlecast Primetime. I'm Raj Joshi. Our forums are off the hook with Red Alert 3 questions. The last time I checked, our official Red Alert 3 Ask a Developer thread had 66 pages of replies. Well, let's get you some answers from Amir Rao in Ask a Developer. Amir?
Thanks, Raj. This is Amir Rao, a designer on Red Alert 3, and we're here from E3 to answer your Ask a Developer questions. All right, our first question comes from Baron, who asks, Will radar be independent or integrated into the main base?
So in Red Alert 3, we've completely redesigned the radar.
That means it's clearer and easier to use, and you have better command of your units. In Red Alert 3, the radar will never go down if you have low power. The only way to turn off an enemy radar is to infiltrate their construction yard with an Imperial Shinobi or an Allied spy. Scorch226 asks, will there be snipers? So yes, there will be a single sniper, and that is the Soviet commando unit Natasha, who has a powerful custom rifle that allows her to shoot through units, like these peacekeepers here. I'll give her a single attack, and you can see she rails the entire line of them with one shot. Silverthorn Dart asks, where is our nuclear technology? Well, because Einstein was erased from this timeline by the Soviets, there is no nuclear technology. However, there is this, the replacement for it, the Soviet vacuum imploder, which sucks everything in and blows it up. It's a massive superweapon, devastating in its own right, but not powered by nuclear technology. Blind One asks, will the twin-blade gunship be able to shoot and fire its rocket pods while transporting units? So you can see here, I've got a twin blade. I'm going to use it to fire. However, if the twin blade is destroyed, the twin blade and anything it's carrying is going to go down with it. All right, now we're at the final question, which has been on everyone's mind, which is how does Yuriko, the Japanese commando, attack? Yuriko has a powerful single-target telekinetic ability that allows her to throw infantry and vehicles up into the air and bring them smashing down to the ground. She can also pull airplanes from the sky and utterly destroy them. But because it's only a single-target attack, she's vulnerable to groups of enemies. That's where her secondary ability comes in. It's a telekinetic push that throws everything away from her, allowing her to escape. This is Amir Rao from the floor of E3 with Ask a Developer. Keep those great questions coming. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Amir. Let's see some of those Red Alert 3 tactics in action. It's time for the Battlecast 5.
5.
Unleash GDI versus Hitaki Nod on Small Town, USA. Unleash sends in rocket APCs but leaves his base open to a Reckoner. Whoops. Yep, that sonic repulsion field won't help you there, buddy. Time to pack it up. Unleashed moves his Conyard just out of reach of the Reckoner as we fast forward to the epic units. Unleashed goes for the Marv with a Zone Trooper option and harvests his expansion field, while Hitaki chooses the more engineer Flamethrower Redeemer. The MCVs are on the move. Which epic unit can corner the Conyard first? Well, we'll never know as Unleashed goes straight for the jugular. Where's the micro, Hitaki? Your Flamethrower isn't in range and the Redeemer goes down! Unleashed breaks free and gets the win.
4.
Last in 187 GDI versus No Noobs Nod and it's me, GDI on Unsound Investment. Last builds a refinery and war factory inside his allies' base and pulls a Raj by selling his own Conyard. A bold strategy just to get that early econ boost. Pitbull and rocket bikes abound, but no one can clinch that early lead. 187 has claimed 4 tip fields, including his allies' starting field, but he hasn't built up an army yet. No Noobs has foregone economy in favor of a cloaked Redeemer and a few upgraded stealth tanks. It's me! Runs distraction with a force of predators while the Redeemer and stealth tanks attack from the north. Oh, look at that! Avatars and rival Marv and 24 railgun predators arrive fashionably late to finish the match in style. No Noobs and it's me get the win.
Red Alert 3.
The Empire of the Rising Sun squares off against the Soviets on the beta version of Battle Base. The Empire kicks off the game going econ and tries to secure his Oriole Derrick, while the Soviets are on the offensive and rush out with a few bears. Oh my! The bears are quickly dispatched by a bonsai attack from the Imperial warriors as an engineer sprints to grab the Derrick. Someone get this guy some water! The Empire expands while the Soviets tech up and both teams go out for some Ord Collector harassment. A Terror drone approaches the Empire's Collector, which is taken out just before it can switch to the attack mode. Out for blood and a little revenge, the Empire's Mecha Tengu swoop in for a Collector. Both teams have a high-tech army, but the Soviets have an ultra weapon. The Empire is marching in, but here comes the vacuum imploder. Things appear to be looking up for our red comrades, but can they pull off the W? The Empire calls in a balloon bomb as the tide of war quickly shifts. The bombs nail a super reactor and take out almost all of the base. There's just a few Striker VXs left against a single Kirov. Can the Soviets come back? Not this time. A Rocket Angel locks up the Kirov and it's quickly dispatched. The Striker VXs take to the skies and finish the job. This one goes to the Empire.
2.
We Are Blessed, Marked of Cain versus I Train Harder, Reaper 17 on tournament decision. Blessed scouts some Skrin tanks, so he decides to build an EMP-enabled army of Enlightened. The tanks are pushed out, and Blessed retaliates with a Shadow Strike on Train's nerve center. They both expand and turtle, Train with his Shard Walkers and Blessed with Obelisks. EMPs hold down the south, and a lone Redeemer defends up north. With nearly 10 Obelisks, Blessed is one tough nut to crack and is sucking up more power than Las Vegas. Blessed goes on the offensive with the Redeemer and fails. So he decides to stick his head back in his shell as he defends against an onslaught of Corruptors, Tripods, and Hexapods. That's right, it's 1 Hexapod down, 2 Hexapods down, 3 Hexapods down. 25 minutes into the match, and Blessed finally goes on the offensive again. He finishes off a 4th Hexapod, and Train finally decides just to surrender out of sheer frustration and a possible bedtime. 1. A new challenger approaches. It's reigning champ of one match, Unleashed Nod versus Fnatic Steel Talons, back on Small Town, USA. Unleashed got the win in match 1. Let's see if he can do it again, this time as Nod. Fnatic sends a Marv south in his MCV west as he tries for an Econ boom. Unleashed is taking a stealthier approach, loading a commando into a Reckoner under the cover of a Disruption Tower. The cloaked Reckoner charges north, but wait, what's this? Unleashed has stumbled upon an unguarded MCV, like a lone gazelle lost in the prairie. The MCV unpacks and is instantly detonated. Boom! Pitbulls nail the Reckoner, but the commando escapes to take down a war factory and an airfield, definitely justifying the 3-to-1 ROI. That Reclamator hub spits out another 2 MCVs, and Fnatic is back in the game. Unleashed sends a Redeemer head-on at the main MCV and another Stealth Reckoner Commando combo at the second MCV. A single Reckoner is all that remains as the Marv tries in desperation to destroy the base owned by Unleashed. Unleashed calls in a Shadow Strike Force to seal the deal, sign the dotted line, strike, win, game over. And if you want to challenge Unleashed, pop in a quarter and play in the main event next week. Post a challenge in Command & Conquer TV forums.
The 5, brought to you by Kane's Wrath 360. CNC3 gets overhauled with new factions, new missions, and the Xbox exclusive Kane's Challenge. Whip out your command stick, soldier. That's an order.
Oh, what epicness! Epicness. I gotta work on that. I love watching matches right after a patch. You never know what to expect, but the patch has launched more than just some crazy Battlecast matches. Oh yes, it's time for APOC to bring you all the news by the fans, for the fans, in APOC's Community Corner.
What's up, all you commanders? This is Aaron APOC Kaufman, your CNC community manager. As you can see, I've been let out of my corner by the bosses. Wasn't too far of a journey, but I am live here at the E3 Games Convention. So let's kick things off with a little bit of CNC news. Kane's Wrath is back off to a rocking start. And with that, we have finally kicked off Ladder Season 2 for Kane's Wrath. There is a $6,000 prize at stake. And man, what can you say about Sean Teeter, who's trying to defend his grand championship and bring the gold back home for the USA? I'm sure there's quite a few people out there who would like to kick his butt off the ladder. If you haven't heard, we've recently brought on a new member from the community who has started working here at ELA. His name is Mastermind, and he is going to be your CNC mod guy. You can look forward to a lot of great spotlights, mods, maps, all the great creativity going on out there in the CNC community. Be sure to check out CNC.com every Monday for Mastermind's Mod Madness. Some of my favorite guys over at PlanetCNC.com have been running a little competition called Photoshop This, where you have to defame Redmond Boyle. And maybe you'll win the first place grand prize, a copy of Kane's Wrath, and an automatic entry into the Red Alert 3 beta. And finally, we've talked about this mod quite a bit, and man, am I looking forward to it. It is called Renegade X. Renegade X is a mod that is porting Renegade to the Unreal Engine, and it's going to have some amazing graphics, fantastic gameplay. Just head over to their website, renegade-x.com right now. Check it out. Well, that's all I got for you for now. So commanders and comrades, remember, every day is Community Day. I'm out.
Well, our E3 coverage has almost come to a close, but before we leave, we have one last exclusive E3 segment left for you, Birth of a Unit. Joining us now is lead balance designer and our main event commentator, Greg Black himself. Greg, what's it like to be here so early on in the show?
You know, it's a little weird, but I'm feeling good. I'm excited about it.
Nice. Well, Greg, it's time to unveil the Striker VX in Birth of a Unit. Birth of a Unit.
Birth of a Unit!
The Striker VX. It's actually very cool. What it can do is it starts out on the ground as your anti-air unit, but when you activate its secondary ability, it'll transform, pop up into the air as a helicopter, and basically be your main ground attack aircraft. Some units, we nailed the look of like right away. The Striker VX was not one of these. We went through a bunch of different iterations on it. It started out looking kind of like a grasshopper, and then it turned into something that looked a little more like a Mad Cat. But what we ended up with was sort of this cool looking, almost like raptor thing on the ground. These units that can transform, they tend to be a little bit weaker than the pure world units on the other factions, but the versatility really pays off, and in the hands of a careful micromanager, you can do some amazing things with this unit. I think the Striker is going to become a really quintessential, Red Alert unit. I mean, it does something very unexpected. The first time you encounter it, you think you're just going to blow it away, and then all of a sudden this huge transform happens, it's in the air, it's blowing up your tanks, you never see it coming, it's kind of wacky, it's a lot of fun, really just fits into the whole Red Alert 3 experience. And that's the birth of the Striker VX.
Greg Black, pleasure to have you on the show, especially since this month, main event is actually coming a week after Battlecast Primetime. Be sure to say hello to Jason for us.
I will do. And, we wanted to be sure that the community had some time to duke it out in 1.01 before we choose the fight. But post your match suggestions in the Command & Conquer TV forums on commandandconquer.com, and maybe your match will be the main event.
Nice. Well, thanks, Greg.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I'm going to hit the show floor and score me some E3 swag.
You and me both, Raj.
Of course. Battlecast Primetime is nothing without you, the fans. So be vocal. Tell us what you want from your show.
Voice your comments on our message boards at www.commandandconquer.com or email us at battlecast@ea.com. Remember to Battlecast your next match for a shot to be featured here on our 1-year anniversary edition of Battlecast Primetime. For Raj Joshi, I'm David Silverman.
And we'll see you on the battlefield.
Years ago, I got out a 386 computer that I had in my attic, and I then got Command & Conquer 1. My boy, Callum, he was 8 years old. He sat down and he played Command & Conquer 1, and then I just moved him through the entire series. I think he's the only 10-year-old that I know of who, on the planet right now, who has literally been given an education in the glory of this game. What a legacy, what a thing. It's effectively the Bob Dylan of computer games.